Before looking for a sailing boat, you need to have the answers of the questions you have already asked yourself. Only then do you actually know what you're looking for. There are lots of sites to choose from on the internet at the moment, and there are thousands of boats to actually choose from. So you need to make yourself a shortlist as soon as you possibly can, in order to aid yourself in the search for the boat that you want, and not go looking at boats that you don't actually want and you don't know until you get there. I think the first place to start is working out what your actual total budget is going to be. The next question you need to ask yourself is, where are you going to keep the boat? You will also need a bit of a safety net built into your boat purchase as well, say £2,000. So a budget of, say, £17,000 can only get you a £10,000 boat if you plan on keeping it in a marina. Next, you must ask yourself, what are my priorities with the boat? I spend a lot of time on my boat, so comfort is a key factor for me, which means it needs to be fairly heavy and need a bit more wind to get going in light airs. I enjoy passage making rather than racing around the cans, so the hull type would definitely have to be a long keel for me. I know it's more difficult in marinas, but once you're used to it, you're used to it. Auxiliary propulsion. I think you've got to go with diesel. It's a good fuel and it makes a good engine. The engine I'd choose would always have a shaft with it. It would never be a sail drive model because the actual rubber diaphragms that keep the water out the boat scare me. I prefer weight stability over form stability for a good writing arm. A well-designed boat can stay in production for years and can earn a good reputation, and that's a good, confident way to buy a boat. Which also probably means you're getting a really well-built boat. The next item on my list is actually the reason I'm changing boat. I want a wheelhouse. I'm feeling the cold more and I seem to be sailing in colder weather more, and I want the protection. The next question is, where do you start? Do you start at the top of the market and work your way down? Do you start at the bottom of the market and work your way up? No, you just use your list. You've already put your priorities together and that will tick boats off and on your list, and you need to make a short list. So you look at the boat, you look at the spec of the boat, and if it doesn't fall into what you want, then you move on. Once you find a boat that you think meets your criteria, then the next thing to do is work out as much as you can just by looking at it on paper. So go through all the pictures that are provided, and you can even ask for more pictures of areas that you're not sure about. You need to look at the areas and ask yourself some questions. Does it need work here? Does it need work there? Am I happy with this? Am I happy with that? Some sites offer a hell of a lot more than other sites when looking for a boat. Boatshedcom, who I have no ties to, I think do a really good job. They give excellent breakdown of what's included, what's not included. They give good detail on the boat before you've started to help you sort out if it's the boat for you. And they put a phenomenal amount of pictures in. They seem to go right round the boat, in and out the bilges and everywhere. So you feel like you've virtually seen the boat before you start. Then go to Google and type in the boat type you want, plus Sailboat Data, and see what comes up. I use this method to find as much information as I can to form a good picture of the boat in my mind. Once on the Sailboat Data site, if your boat that you've typed in is covered, it will come up. And if it comes up, you'll get a good chunk of information that's available on that boat. I use it to make comparisons against other boats. First thing I want to know is how heavy a boat is, its displacement. And then once you find its displacement, I want to know how much ballast is going to pull it back upright. And this even gives you a ratio of 45%. So it gives you a figure in your head of a boat's ability to pull itself back upright. The next block down, Sailboat Calculations, tells you how the boat's actually going to perform. I'm not interested in everything. I'm interested in comfort and I'm interested in capsize. There are other companies who actually do this as well. There's Yachtnet on the internet. They give you a good breakdown as well, but they do it in a different style. They seem to take the time to put a bit of history about the brand together. The boat manufacturer, they'll tell you whether there's like Mark 1, Mark 2s, different keel versions, and go through a little bit of history of it. And they've compiled this information over a bit of time because they sell boats, and the lower part of the page is made into a gallery of boats they've actually sold and taken pictures of So there'll be different models and different styles down there if they've sold more than one or two, but you get some more pictures to look at and some ideas. The main thing is to feed yourself with as much information as you possibly can. For example, if there were different models and the two different models had two different complete features of the same boat that you liked, you might wish after you'd bought one when you see the other one that that was the one you got, but you don't know unless you do a bit of research. When you actually find a boat you like, look to see how many of them are available on the market. Look at the different sites and see if you can see a sort of trend for the pricing. Make sure you're not paying over the odds. Not forgetting as while looking that age makes a difference to price. A newer boat will obviously cost a lot more than an older boat of the same design. When you find a boat that you actually like, don't use the mainstream internet provider for it. Go down the page and look for the broker who've put it on, and then click on their number and contact them via that. Alternatively, you could just go on Google, type in the boat brokerage, click on it and see what comes up. When you find which one it is, click on that, and then you can go directly to their website and you can have a look on there. The advantages of this are there might be more pictures on there. The price might have gone down on there. That hasn't gone down on the main site yet. You've got lots of different options now. You can look through their brokerage as well and see if there's any other boats on there that you might fancy. Maybe they've uplisted it on their own site now, but not got round to putting it up on one of the big sites yet. The worst thing that actually happens when you're doing this, however, is when you're looking through the listings and you actually find the boat listed that you wanted to inquire about, you find out it might say sale pending on the original site where it hasn't said sale pending on the mainstream site yet. Once you find the advert you're looking for on the original brokerage site and it's still available, you know it's worth the rest of the journey to carry on looking. So, one by one, go through the pictures, blow them up if you can, have a good look round. See if there's any additional pictures or any additional information. Have a look to see if the price has gone down or if it's still the same. Is it exactly what you're looking for? If it's what you're looking for, then don't delay. Contact them. Don't let it get away. Not forgetting to check in with Sailboat Data to see if it's as heavy as you want it to be. Got a good chunk of ballast made of lead is nice as well. Is she comfortable? Oh yes, she's very comfortable. And will she pull herself upright without any effort whatsoever? I think this new Scan-Yacht version of the LM27 goes right to the top of my list. It's very closely followed by another boat that has got a little bit light in the ballast for me, but if you could add to the ballast and bring this 29% up to say 40, then it would actually add to this comfort level and it would bring this capsize formula back down to where it needs to be to make it a proper boat. It's a Digaro 28 if I'm saying it correctly, and I think it's a very nice boat. Right, this is part one, more or less over with. So we'll be looking at getting part two together as soon as I have a boat to go and have a look at, and I'll take you along with me. Please like if you've enjoyed up to now, and if you want to see what goes on in the future, please subscribe.